Hello again. Well, I just got back from Transformers last night a little while ago, and it's definitely was some kind of wild ride, to say the least. And now I've seen all five of these. This is my third one I've gone to theater to see, and I wanted to cover this sooner, but in many ways, I'm kind of glad I was able to do this after I looked at the first couple because it is by far the most bizarre one I've seen. And I just came off viewing Revenge of the Fallen for corn's sake. Since. And, I mean, I mean, normally I try not to do spoilers too much unless I have to, but in this case, the advertising actually revealed a lot. I actually was able to call quite a few things as well. And I'm not going to go and do two major ones. If you are curious, I will suggest, however, this is one of those movies you might want to see and hate in order to believe it. Otherwise, you might not. Because they've been across the board in terms of quality, in terms of live action ones, but overall, there's been something we'll get out of all of them. And in many ways, even though not many of the intentional jokes hit, there were more miss. The way seeing a lot of these actors involved who have been nominated or even won words deliver these lines with a hint of irony, kind of makes movie in many ways an intentional parody of the series that I am fairly confident could re-edit this movie into a Transformers spoof, especially live action films wouldn't have to change all that much, to be honest. That after 10 years, I suggested the last movie became self-aware. This one has now come full circle, hitting all into soft parody of its kind of lineage as a blockbuster or film about a toy. And so before I get into the new stuff, I think I'll definitely go over how it hits all the plot points. I actually was able to run through a mental checklist of elements for the other movies in here. And I'm just gonna hit the ones I know were present in other films, like Transformers. There's excellent middle handling history. Check. They were involved in the Arthurian legend and World War II for some reason. So, Transformers that are making deals with government agencies, even though they could easily kill them once they used to be valuable. Check. There's a new group, there's a TRA, whoever, basically playing the same role that Sarah Taiwan was in the last movie. And so, eye candy, female characters, despite trying to get themselves involved, basically glorified eye candy. Check. There are multiple flavors at this time. We have a young woman called Isabella, played by Isabel Moner, who apparently lost her family in the third movie, The Battle of Chicago. Her parents got killed in the Decepticon bombing or whatever. And also other elements so innuendos and stereotypes both human and non, gratuitous plot placement, and a narrative, that makes make a lot of sense, but ultimately takes a backseat to special effects. Well, like I said last time, that was 3 years ago, One Seed of Extinction. Those who are not familiar with the series or based on filmmaking need not apply, and those who are going like me knew what they were in for, and exactly what was expected as advertised, and in all fairness, it seems kind of like the other ones, maybe as chaotic as I would expect at this point in time. It was kind of warm out today, so it's kind of all in all, no okay way to kill 149 minutes made sense. So, and for some reason, apparently there's another MacGuffin this time. Like, first movie was the Allsparks, second movie was the Shroud Leader, the Mutual's Leadership, third movie was the Pillars, fourth it was the Seed of the Transformers, and this one it's Merlin's Staff. And even though Stanley Tucci is not playing Joshua Joyce again, he is playing a Merlin who, in his words, is Snalzold, which is actually a fairly good mindset approach this movie if you were so inclined. Because while that King Arthur movie they had a couple months ago flopped, Bay at least knows how to make this material work, even this whole gobbledygook. I mean, I even skimmed about Armageddon earlier today before I left to go see this movie. Well, I met some people who were living here doing some errands. And on that note, I would say, hey, that again, a lot of actors there clearly know that they're not gonna give the same performance they would for another movie like. I mean, it's clear to me that Hopkins would not get the same performance he would as Hannibal Lecter in this movie as Edmund and Burton or whoever. And Cogman, who even the film knows like kind of like a C-3PO knockoff. Completely with the British accents. But if anything, I think he's like more like a discount key to us, given how snarky and often violent he is. And a lot of the characters they introduced for the film new are either get killed off or don't have any major impact on the plot. And I think I totally call this for Nemesis Prime in many ways. And also, they're setting up future films. Since this one is intended to be like following the last one, apparently they don't just want to do another one close in the second trilogy as well as a Bumblebee spinoff. They want to do like a whole 14 sequels as well as a potential Hasbro Cinematic Universe, kind of like Marvel's done. At this point, I'm actually okay with that, And even though the film kind of acknowledges how a lot of the craziness going on isn't much of a stretch anymore, or if things are going down the gutter, I might as well enjoy myself, and in many ways, I actually kind of did. That's even when during scenes I was supposed to be taken seriously, I actually could not help cracking up because I think it's actually a miracle a lot of these actors are able to get through this dialogue with straight face, many points, that you can tell that in many ways they're trying very hard not to laugh because even say ones who are from previous movies kind of have getting used to bashed at this point. And also other ones like Mark Wahlberg and even Bay himself are going to be leaving after this one, but even though it's not making as much money as it seems, it's still open at #1, do one internationally, and it's probably going to sell enough merchandise to probably make more, and it's that simple because I think it might work given how all the soldiers being used as extras, least of all getting Lennox and Epps back. It's kind of like, say, they probably, like I suggested before, that kind of stand-ins are Duke and Roebuck and G.I. Joe. In fact, Golden Eagle confirmed to take this in continuity. So elements of Final Battle in Stonehenge role places have elements of Sky Commanders and also other parts of the film like Mask, Centurions, a whole slew of them. And this is kind of like a summer where it's like for every Wonder Woman we've had a Captain Underpants, for every Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 we've had a King Arthur, for every Spider-Man Homecoming we have something like this, and I can say that it's definitely not something I would put as a movie this summer by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm reluctant to call it an outright like good movie unambiguously. I mean, like tomato meters even lower than Revenge of Fallen, 15%. So, and we've already got a potential new Worst Picture Razzie nominee for this year. I would say a since I forgot to mention, look at Revenge of Fallen that won Worst Picture in 2009. And in anyways, I think I'm still looking to merge, and I'm particularly going to be focusing on Western Star Optimus. I'm still working on my own little version of Dynasty of Prime, so other ones on my shelf review get off. But still, in many ways, that's how it feels. That's like, from a purely actiony point of view, special effects and action are relatively impressive, even if some of it does get quite busy. Obviously, I might be able to make clearer sense some of the scenes when it comes on DVD and Blu-ray. But in many ways, it's kind of like if some kid was dumping all of his Transformers out of the toy box and just knocking them together. And there, while he shouted a bunch of strange stuff like I used to when I was younger, man, hunger, and which actually isn't that different from how I would imagine the sense. And I knew in many ways I simply could not go into the same expectations I would with something like, say, a Star Wars movie or most Cinematic Universe movie, or even with something like Wonder Woman Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, or even some of them are gonna be scenes from like Spider-Man Homecoming or War of the Planet of the Apes, but still, my favorite one is probably still the anime one 1986. I'm probably gonna do a G1 retrospective in the near future, as that's gonna be part of it. And overall, it's in many ways, while this Bayhem has become something that he's parlaying into a brand, and even though most of the actors in based movie on, apparently Hopkins actually rather enjoyed working with him. He actually called him a genius at one point, and in his own way, is actually not entirely wrong. I mean, given how Bay may not practice the same kind of craft for machines that James Cameron did in the first couple of Terminator movies, but there are very few people who could actually have mastered the idea of condensing like a Apocalypse coming in 3 days into 148 minutes of screen time. And that's and if anything, even though I admit I mean it's definitely not the best movie I've seen. And it is somewhat enjoyable if well, as an unintentional comedy. I mean, if it would be fairly easy to read that way, and actually kind of looking forward to see what people online can do with it. I mean that for their material when it comes to doing for reviews or stuff like that. So, as an action film, I've seen much better, but I've also seen much worse. So, I admit it's not quite The Dark Knight or The Avengers, but I'll give it a very silly 3 out of 4 because I've had a very strange day and I'm definitely going to have a little cut here, talk about some coming attractions. Okay, and no particular order. I'm mostly going to be going into anticipation, to be honest, but I'll try to keep things in some kind of cohesive order. I mean, so Baby Driver looks like a lot of fun. Since I like some of the Edgar Wright filmography, and I've heard this one is really good. Looks really fun. A lot of the car sounds are creative. I like the soundtrack, and also kind of like the whole idea of this young wheelman and a cast of talented actors. And even if some Comic People magazine didn't like it, I still think I might. Fortunately, he must have been having an off day because he was the majority, and everything else I've heard about is particularly glowing. So I'm surprised my theater's considering showing it, but then again, this show Logan this year, and for popular demand, and since people bought this really like a machine, that's important right now. Black Panther, I've been wanting to talk about this one for a long time since the trailer came out. It's been viewed over 28 million times and counting as of this recording. picking up from Civil War. Her Chadwick Boseman is going to play as well as King T'Challa, as well as having return of Martin Freeman as Ross, as well as Andy Serkis as this arms dealer from Ultron, who actually got his arm cut off. I mean, I would not mind seeing his robotic arm eventually from the comics either, and it's coming out February 2018. I definitely probably am going to see it, depending where I am at then. And looks like this stuff is going to be taking longer than expected, but still, the visuals are impressive. And Chadwick Boseman did really well Creed. He's also going to have Michael B. Jordan coming back, and now we're going to have two former Johnny Storms running around the MCU now. I mean, imagine that. And also, large African American cast, be perfect for the 50th anniversary of comic next year as well as Black History Month. Even though I admit to being whiter than tuna sandwich on white bread mayonnaise, tobacco and Twinkies, if you're pardon the parlance. And Spider-Man Homecoming is coming next after this movie. Looks like a lot of fun. Even though that whole second weekend drop, I admit, is alarming. It's a bit early to be writing that film as a loss just yet, given how it's already outgrossing me Spider-Man 2. It's actually been just absolutely praised with 92% Rotten Tomatoes, and a lot of my friends who have seen it have enjoyed it. I mean, I'm personally expecting to like it, and I actually think I kind of like how we're going to have a take on Spider-Man, which actually does not get bogged down in the origin story, way and just lets you enter his world on its own terms, man. And some people ask, like my comic book movie silly or serious? My play is, why not both? I kind of like how Marvel, much like The Dark Knight, Hate Saga, has managed to balance atmospheres full of snarky lines, colorful special effects with interesting stories and likable characters as well. I mean, that's so. And last, in my opinion at least, Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. I'm sorry, guys, just cannot get into this one. I mean, it's always is something whenever I see actors I like trying to tackle the impossible because, like, apparently it's a sequel to the original book and the original film, which. And. I mean, I know there's some people who like Kevin Hart and everything. I'm just not among them, and he has no Robin Williams, and he's just someone I don't think I'll be replaced. And he's, man, I do like Jack Black, Amy Adams, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but I just never been that big a fan of the original film, or even the other Christopher Nolan movies. I mean, like Polar Express, didn't really care for. I mean, I think for movies that came out in 2004 that were animated and capture how humans worked, there was one like that. It was called The Incredibles, man. And Zathura is only maybe the least disappointing for me because it came the closest to capturing the magic of the books, and it just did not make it all the way, man. That's the whole thing. I love Christopher Nolan's books, but I just don't think they need to be movies in many ways. So it's not like that we play other stuff I will do that whole season. I think my plan is just wait for the DVD to come out, maybe go see Star Wars Last Jedi a second time. So, but enough of my rambling. Because I don't think it was that I'm down. It's the fact that there was a Stonehenge monument, and on the screen that was in danger of being destroyed by Unicron. Yeah. And so I'm thinking I've got a couple ones more left to my 1000th episode, and see what it is after I see Spider-Man. And so that'll be all for now. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and what you might see in a future installment or even a potential reboot. And maybe it's for the best that we're getting a change of cast creative team after this one. So that'll be all for now. Until the day, till all are one.